April 23, 2026, Donald Trump opens Truth Social and types 11 words that just changed this entire war. Shoot and kill any boat laying mines. No hesitation. Not a warning. Not a diplomatic signal. A direct kill order, issued publicly in writing to the most powerful navy on the planet. And right now, as you're watching this, U.S. minesweepers are already inside the Strait of Hormuz, operating at what Trump himself called tripled-up level. Iran just made the most expensive mistake in its naval history. Here's exactly what's about to happen to their mine boats. Here's what Iran did to make that happen. Starting in early March 2026, IRGC small craft, fishing boat-sized vessels called Gashti boats, each carrying 2 to 4 mines, began threading Sadaf 02 contact mines and Maham-3 and Maham-7 influence mines into the seafloor. U.S. intelligence assessments estimate Iran has laid between 1,000 and 3,000 mines across the strait and its approaches. A Sadaf contact mine sits tethered just below the surface, invisible from satellite, detonating on hull contact. A Maham influence mine sits on the seafloor and triggers from acoustic or magnetic signatures. The sound of a ship's propeller is enough. CNN reported that Iran still retains more than 80% of its small boats and mine layers, meaning it could feasibly lay hundreds more mines in the waterway. And critically, here is the detail that changes everything. Iran has lost track of mines it planted in the strait and is therefore unable to fully open it even when it wants to. Iran built a trap, then it lost the map. The American response came in 2 brutal phases. Phase 1 happened on March 11th. U.S. forces sunk 16 Iranian mine-laying vessels near the strait before they could complete their mission. Think about the logic of that strike. One Maham-7 mine in the water costs weeks of dangerous clearing operations. One Gashti boat destroyed at sea costs Iran a boat. The arithmetic is ruthless and obvious. Kill the delivery platform before the mines reach the water. On that single day, the U.S. military removed the capacity to lay potentially hundreds of additional mines. But Phase 1 didn't solve the problem. The mines already in the water still needed clearing. And here is where the story becomes genuinely extraordinary. On April 10th, the USS Chief and USS Pioneer, Avenger-class mine countermeasure ships home-ported at Sasebo Naval Base, Japan, departed Singapore heading northwest through the Strait of Malacca toward the Middle East. They had been tracked for days by open-source ship spotters. Their destination was never officially disclosed. It didn't need to be. Their arrival, expected between April 22nd and April 27th, comes as Brent crude crossed $100 per barrel for the first time since the war's opening days. These 2 ships are not just minesweepers. They are half of the entire remaining Avenger-class fleet the United States Navy possesses. 4 ships total exist. 2 are now racing to Hormuz. The other 2 stay in the Pacific because the Navy refuses to leave zero mine-clearing capability near Taiwan if that crisis explodes simultaneously. Ahead of them, on April 11th, USS Frank E. Peterson and USS Michael Murphy became the first U.S. warships to transit the Strait of Hormuz since the war began on February 28th. They went into set conditions, naval language for "we are telling Iran what happens next, and we are doing it with guided missile destroyers." Also converging, USS Tulsa, an MCM-equipped littoral combat ship, transited the Strait of Malacca on April 2nd. USS Canberra and USS Santa Barbara are underway in the Indian Ocean. Unmanned undersea vehicles, MH-60S helicopters with airborne mine detection systems, and P-8A Poseidon surveillance aircraft are all being folded into this operation simultaneously. The USS George H.W. Bush Carrier Strike Group arrived Thursday as the 3rd U.S. aircraft carrier in the region, tightening the naval blockade and giving Trump more military options. Here is the engineering behind what these ships do, because this is where the story gets technical and the stakes become real. The Avenger-class hull is built from wood coated in fiberglass, not steel. The reason is critical. Steel has a magnetic signature. Mines detect magnetic signatures. A wooden hull means the minesweeper can operate inside a minefield without triggering the very weapons it's hunting. The clearing operation runs in layered sweeps. First, the common unmanned surface vehicle, a remote-controlled boat, tows the AN/AQS-20 sonar through suspected zones, mapping the seafloor by shape, density, and magnetic return. Second, MH-60S helicopters carry airborne laser systems that scan the water column for near-surface moored mines that sonar misses from below. Third, once a mine is confirmed, an expendable autonomous underwater robot swims directly to it and destroys it. The ship stays outside the threat zone. The machines absorb the risk. But experts are already flagging the hard reality. The Pentagon's testing office delivered its verdict in March 2026. It could not determine the reliability or effectiveness of the LCS Mine Countermeasures mission package. The MH-60S helicopter countermine system demonstrated low reliability, and the unmanned surface vehicle was found not operationally suitable. One researcher noted the sensors are ineffective in turbid shallow waters, which describes almost the entire Persian Gulf. That is precisely why the old Avenger-class ships, wooden hulls and 1990s technology, are being rushed 4,000 nautical miles from Japan right now. Experts caution that clearing the strait could take up to 6 months. Iran knows this. The trap was designed to be expensive in exactly this way. Which brings us back to April 23rd and Trump's Truth Social post. Iran fired on 3 ships in the Strait of Hormuz on April 22nd and seized 2 of them, the MSC Francesca and the Epaminondas, escorting them into Iranian waters. Less than 24 hours later, Trump issued the kill order. I have ordered the United States Navy to shoot and kill any boat, small boats though they may be, that is putting mines in the waters of the Strait of Hormuz. There is to be no hesitation, he wrote. He added that minesweepers are clearing the strait right now, and ordered that activity to continue at triple the current level. CENTCOM has already redirected 33 vessels since the blockade began on April 13th. Transits through the strait are still less than 10% of the typical daily flow, with 500 to 700 vessels trapped inside the Persian Gulf. Iran built a mine trap designed to hold the global oil supply hostage for months. The United States just responded by deploying every mine-clearing asset it owns, ordering its Navy to shoot on sight any boat that drops another mine, and sending 3 aircraft carriers to enforce a naval blockade simultaneously. The Strait of Hormuz is not a war zone anymore. It is a demolition site, and the U.S. Navy just showed up with the wrecking crew. The question is no longer whether the mines get cleared. The question is whether Iran survives the cost of making America have to clear them. Subscribe to Military Affairs. We calculate whether it works.